The Miami Dolphins got busy on a Tuesday. They signed a former first-round pick to the active 53-man roster, and they were forced to make a corresponding move to make room for that signing, so they placed a player on IR. We'll get to all the news on today's show. I am Nic Rohloff. We'll start with the player they signed. You saw the Patriots headshot right there. Well, it's because it was a former first-round pick from New England, the division rival that Miami plays this Sunday, Cole Strange, the guard from Chattanooga, who was actually waived by New England in August. He was chilling on the Browns practice squad, and with all of the injuries to Austin Jackson and James Daniels among this offensive line, Chris Grier wants to add some depth there, and they take him off of the Browns practice squad. And when you sign someone off a practice squad, you have to make them on your 53-man roster. Full breakdown of everything Miami did, including Cole Strange as a player, but hit that sub button for daily Dolphins coverage and all piece of Dolphins news. But we're also playing the New England Patriots this week. I know things aren't hot in Miami right now, but can we at least take down Patriots tonight in our sub battle? We're already beating them by 107. Hit that sub button, take the lead even further, and you'll get the top-notch Dolphins content you need. All right, so who is Cole Strange? As I mentioned just a second ago, he was the 29th overall pick in the 2022 NFL Draft out of Chattanooga. It was the famous, or I guess infamous, clip from the Rams front office where they were stunned when they found out he went in the first round because they thought he was going to be available in the third or fourth round. Now, he played every single snap his rookie season for the New England Patriots, but suffered a torn patellar tendon in 2023, which is almost the kiss of death for offensive linemen. It forced him to miss about 7 games in 2023, and he only played about 2 games in 2024. So he's been out of commission for what feels like 2 years, and that forced him to get behind the 8 ball in this Patriots offensive line, and he was ultimately waived on August 26th by the Patriots, and then obviously picked up by the Browns for their practice squad. This is an interior offensive lineman through and through. As a rookie, he played 982 snaps, all at left guard. In his second season before that patellar tendon tear, he played 564 snaps at left guard again. But the interesting thing is that when New England brought him back for the last couple of games of the season a year ago, they did not play him at left guard. They played him at center. He appeared in 117 snaps, all of them at that center of the offensive line. And Strange has not had the best career, which is why the Patriots weren't too patient with him as he returned from injuries, has not graded out well. He has been a okay pass blocker, but has really struggled in the run blocking game, has given up 8 sacks, penalized 10 times. I will say this, when you look at Cole Strange, and this is part of the reason why he has struggled in the NFL, opposed to when he was playing at the Chattanooga college level, is that he's like an undersized athletic guard and he lacks the power required to work in the interior going up against those massive athletic defensive line freaks. Like, this is an athletic guard. This is not a powerful guard. And it all shows on his RAS. And now, there are times to where you can be athletic and strong, but Cole Strange simply is not one of those guys. Like, you see a lot of green here in Strange's RAS when he was coming out of Chattanooga. 9.95 RAS. He's got good height. He has good speed. He has good agility. He has a good explosive grade. But you see the one red there, his weight. And that's been an issue. He hasn't been strong enough, as I just mentioned, to handle the full workload in terms of moving defensive linemen, whether it's a guy like Zach Sealer, whether it's a nose tackle like Benito Jones. I'm just using 2 Dolphins players as an example. But Strange has not had success moving those guys when he needs to free up lanes for his running back. Now, if you are expecting Cole Strange to come into this locker room and potentially have a role right away, I would tell you to pump the brakes here. Strange is just a depth piece at this point who has a lot of starting experience at left guard and center, but I would still expect Miami to prioritize playing guys like Daniel Brunskill, who's been in this building for a month plus. a player like Keon Smith, who's been here for a while. And I don't ever actually expect Cole Strange to see the field for Miami, if we're going to be honest, because once Liam Eichenberg and Andrew Meyer are able to return off of IR and PUP following week 4, and they are able to do so in terms of their health, I would expect Cole Strange to be the first man ultimately waived. But, hey, you guys can make the call. Red Pen time. Grade the Dolphins signing of Cole Strange. A, B, C, D, or F. Get in the comment section and grade this signing. I mentioned the Dolphins had to make a corresponding roster move to make way for Strange on the 53-man roster. That was in the form of James Daniels, the right guard that the Dolphins signed and the projected starter who just played 3 snaps on Sunday, has been placed on IR. This makes him eligible to return in NFL Week 6, where the Dolphins host the Los Angeles Chargers, a game that if Miami wins the next 4 games or goes 3-1 over the next 4, could be a massive one for Miami. And it'll be interesting to see if Daniels is ultimately coming off of IR for that game. Jeremy Fowler reported yesterday on the Daniels pec injury that the estimate is he will be out 3 to 4 weeks. We mentioned it on the show that if he ultimately tore that pec muscle, he'd likely be out for the year. He did not, which is good, and it's the reason why he's going to be eligible to return this season, hopefully for that NFL Week 6 game against the Los Angeles Chargers. And it just makes it even more depressing. I said Daniels played just 3 snaps. Well, that's the offensive line. Like, this starting O-line, which I thought was going to be good if they could stay healthy, Paul, Savinaya, Brewer, Daniels, Jackson. Like, I was very optimistic about those 5. Well, Daniels played 3 snaps, out for a month. And now Austin Jackson is hurt as well. So those starters only got 3 snaps together in meaningful action. So the next man up, James Daniels out for the next 4 weeks. Who's it going to be? I think it's going to be Keon Smith. And Smith ultimately filled that void on Sunday. He played 44 snaps in week 1 against the Colts. The starting O-line played 47 snaps, so there's the 3 missing one. In this upcoming Sunday where the Patriots are the opponent, I would expect Keon Smith to be that starting right guard again. And he did a fine job, which we'll look further into how he played in week 1. But we are sponsored by Ethos, and in this day and age, you can't take anything for granted. When you lose someone close to you, you can't help but think about the future. With life insurance through Ethos, your family is protected. Life insurance is a perfect way to make sure you're covered, can help pay the mortgage or your kids' college tuition. Right now, you can get your free quote at ethos.com/NFL Daily. Ethos is an online platform that makes getting life insurance fast and easy to protect your family's future in minutes, not months. Life insurance is more affordable than you think. With Ethos, you can get a free quote and customize a rate that fits your budget. The process is 100% online with no medical exam required. Just answer a few health questions and get a quote in as little as 10 minutes. 3 million families have completed their application and trusted Ethos to help find the right coverage. Join them and protect your family with life insurance from Ethos. Get your free quote at ethos.com/NFL Daily. That is ethos.com/NFL Daily. An updated look at this offensive line depth chart. So I've moved James Daniels to the IR list, joining Liam Eichenberg, who's on PUP, and Andrew Meyer, who is on IR. So your 5 starters, in my opinion, will be Patrick Paul, Savinaya, Aaron Brewer, Keon Smith, and TBD at right tackle. We will see about the status of Austin Jackson, but Strange kind of slots in there as that backup right guard or left guard. He could play either one. And we know Daniel Brunskill could also play that right guard spot if Keon Smith got hurt or flat out isn't cutting it. But when referring to Keon Smith, he was not horrible in week 1 against the Colts. Remember, I mentioned he filled in and played 44 snaps. So he basically played the entire game for the Dolphins offense. And the PFF grades weren't kind to Keon Smith, but I kind of beg to differ. And he had some good plays on tape. He had some bad plays, but he did only allow 1 pressure, wasn't penalized a single time, and I, for the most part, believe the offensive line did a relatively fine job protecting Tua. The offensive issues more or less came from Tua struggling with accuracy, not seeing the field well, and kind of panicking in the pocket. But it's not ideal, obviously, that we are already in NFL Week 2, and the Dolphins will be operating with a different right guard and likely right tackle for NFL Week 2. Now, the status of Austin Jackson for the future is still TBD. He is dealing with a toe injury, which kept him out for the 3 preseason games and all of the joint practices. And Mike McDaniel said on Monday that they're still getting different opinions on that Jackson toe injury. But the fact that we're in week 2 and you're starting right guard, right tackle combo of Daniels Jackson, the blindside protectors for Tua, are likely going to miss time, that's not great. I mean, you already have Daniels out for 4 games at minimum. How long is Jackson going to be out? That's still to be determined. And the problem is that you're going up against a Patriots team that has a pretty good pass rush and defensive line. I mean, Harold Landry, the player that New England signed in free agency after he was cut by the Titans to a big-time 3 or 4 year deal. I forget which time. It was either 3 or 4 years. But he got a decent chunk of change, and he was unbelievable for them against the Raiders in his New England debut. He had 5 tackles, 2.5 sacks, and posted a 17.2% win percentage on his pass rush attempts. If he goes up against the Larry Borom and Keon Smith combo, that could cause an issue. But the Patriots pass rush as a whole is arguably the strength of their team. Like, the Patriots defense is pretty solid. There's no doubt about that. And especially because Christian Gonzalez is likely going to return, not confirmed, but I believe he will be. Like, you have arguably the best interior defensive line duo in the National Football League with Milton Williams and Christian Barmore. Williams, by the way, had a 24% win rate in his pass rush opportunities this week against the Raiders. Barmore's a great player. I mean, this pass rush, and we'll look more into it during our Week 2 preview, they allowed 2.3 yards per carry for the Las Vegas Raiders and Ashton Genty. The only reason they were able to move the field is because Geno Smith was playing out of his mind against that Patriots defense. And if they had Christian Gonzalez, it might have been a different story, who's a top 5 corner in football, and Miami's probably going to have to play him this week. The point is, I'm concerned about this Dolphins offense being able to move the football. They couldn't do it against the Colts. Are they going to be able to do it against New England? And specifically with that offensive line, you already are going to likely have 2 backups playing at right guard and right tackle, like Milton Williams, Barmore, Landry, Clavon Chasen, Keon White. They've got some dogs up front, man. And it's certainly something I'm concerned about, and it isn't instilling me with a lot of confidence in this Week 2 game. If the Dolphins want to win this one, they're going to have to do some soul searching, get more physical, more fierce, and they're certainly going to have to play better defense, because I'm not sure the offense is going to come out and light up New England's defense for 27-plus points. That'll do it for today's video. More news, rumors, injury reports to get to this week as we lead up to Sunday's game against New England, where it is a must-win for the Miami Dolphins. So if you want to be up to date on the Fins, subscribe today.